Welcome to this exercise where I talk a little bit about how to solve logarithm or logarithmic equations. We have as an exercise to solve the following equation for the variable x. And we see that it is a logarithmic equation because the x is part of the logarithm. So how to go about this? Well, first off, I do not see any way to simplify this equation with any logarithmic rules, so I directly try to isolate one of the logarithmic terms. Well, it's already done here on the left side. Then I'm going to apply the inverse function. So for the natural logarithm, the inverse function is the exponential function. So I'm going to apply on the left and the right hand side of the equation the exponential function, giving me this result. Well, let's first take a look on the left side. Here I have exponential function applied on logarithm. So those two cancel each other out, and I'm left with this expression. So this already simplifies this at least something. What about the right hand side? Well, there's one rule for working with exponents. And the exponential function is nothing else than an exponent. So I have number e to the power of 1 plus natural logarithm of 1 minus x. So what is the rule? Well, if I have x to the power of a plus b, I can separate this into two parts, x to the power of a times x to the power of b. So here we're going to do the same. We're going to separate this into e to the power of 1 times e to the power of ln. Then it looks like this, if I'm not writing this with e to the power of, but with exponential function. So this plus inside can be transformed into a multiplication on the outside. Again, here on the right, I see exponential function applied on the logarithm. So they cancel each other out. And this is nothing else than the number e to the power of 1. E to the power of 1 is just e. So it looks like this. So this already is much simpler. So I can factor out on the right side, giving me this. And then I can just bring all the variables with an x on one side and all the variables without an x on the other side. So I'm going to put the e times x on one side and the 1 on the other side, giving me this result here. Well, more or less on the left side, this result. Here I also factored out minus x. So I have this result here, because if I factored out minus x, I have this coefficient in front of the x. So I can simply divide by this coefficient. I will get as a solution x equal 2. So this is my result, which I get in this context. And then I still have to check whether this result is actually a feasible solution. What do I mean by this? Well, I have a logarithmic equation. So I'm not allowed to insert 0 or any negative number into the logarithm. So I have to check if I insert this value into this equation, whether this still works out well. Well, in this regard, it's a negative number. So if I insert here, I have 1 minus minus, so I will have something positive. So no problem here on the right-hand side, only maybe on the left-hand side. Well, this value is smaller than 1. So 1 minus something which is smaller than 1 will give something which is still positive, so also no problem on the right-hand side. So here I found a solution which is also a feasible solution to the initial equation. And this brings me to the end of this session. So I hope you enjoyed it. I say goodbye and see you next time.